Hello everyone, I'm the Sophind. I've just blown in. And today we are back with more Seduce Me 2, The Demon Wolves. Last time we began Sam's path. Yay! New path. Let's see, we heard question mark voices. We did wedding planning. We heard from the girls. We realized my husband's planning something really potentially stupid. Potentially great, we don't know. It is Sam, it could go either way. And decided to bring this session to a close with visiting my grandfather's grave. So let's pick up and see, do we get Grandfather Dearest's blessing here? My heart was overwhelmed by the emotional speech Sam made. Tears were forming in my eyes from the love he was expressing for me. I held my hands over my chest, unable to stop the pounding of my heart. Sam truly loved me. Aww. As I stared at Sam, a gentle wind passed through the air and brushed over Sam's and my skin. It was at a place. The sun was out and I hadn't felt any breeze at all until just then. Oh, let's take this as the sign it is. Huh? Grandfather. Another small breeze brushed over us, making me and Sam smile at the sensation. The wind was my grandfather's answer, and it was gentle enough to let us know that he was happy to see we were, and that we were planning to do. Sam let out the breath he was holding in, now that he knew my grandfather approved.
I won't let you down.
Although, now I want the flashback of Sam asking my parents. 'Cause, yeah, my dad last game was, not the most relaxed of souls. I couldn't help a wide smile growing on my face. Soon will be harvesting time. I was beyond overjoyed at the situation. If Grandfather really was there, I was happy to know that he approved of us. We went home that day feeling confident and ready for whatever the future held for us. We had gained the blessing of my grandfather, and I was certain that however we went about this marriage, we were going to care and love for each other for the rest of our lives. Aww. Just thinking about Sam being with me forever made my heart jump in joy. I was really that excited to be married to him? Question mark indeed. My heart thought so, despite him being a demon. And an asshat. Never forget. Still, the demon ritual remained in the back of my mind, softly prodding my thoughts as we returned home, and worked on more wedding arrangements. I looked at Sam, now curious enough to bring it up. The question was, would I? Nope! I shook my head. No, I would let Sam approach me about it, on his own time. Yeah, knowing Sam, that's probably for the best. I didn't want to press the issue if it was something Sam needed to sort out. I watched Sam as he looked through the list of guests we were expecting to have. I smiled at the sight. He had learned how to read in the only 2 years, and now he was almost as proficient at reading as his eldest brother. That's actually really impressive, all things considered. I didn't want to break his concentration, so I continued to run through the party list of flowers and arrangements. Wow, that was a long list. We had so much to do in a small amount of time. Isn't this what my helper incubi are for? We worked the entire afternoon trying to arrange as much as we could before the passing of time hit us like a wave. Dinner was extremely easy, but our focus was solely on the work at hand. The more work we could accomplish, the less stress we've had to worry about later. Exactly. Looking at Sam, I could tell he was exhausted. He had his head in his hands, trying to stay awake as he read over his notes and paperwork. I'm sure for the 5th or 6th time. I was fairly certain he was tired of reading. Let's go number minds of TV then. He always worked so hard and never failed to try and make everything we did the best moment of our lives. He deserves so much, and yet he fell in love with me, a simple human. Simple my butt. I had no way to repay him, except for loving him back and giving him everything I could. And really, that's all anyone can do in a relationship. Although, there was one thing. My mind traveled to a small bachelorette gift Suzu and Naomi had sent me when they first heard the news. It was the lingerie to be used during our honeymoon, so it was simply sitting, folded up neatly in a box under the bed. I looked at Sam again, my libido giving me an idea of possibly surprising him and making his night. Another part of my brain told me not to bother with it. That gift was for the honeymoon, so it should be preserved as such. Exactly. But it was a gift, and it was given to me, so I could essentially do what I wanted with it. Exactly. My libido fought with my logic over the subject, as I slightly frowned at the idea of making hot love to Sam, or saving the rough night for the honeymoon. Was I going to do it, though? Nope, don't. I shook my head. I didn't need to seduce him tonight. Exactly. We had all the time in the world to make love, and, even if we never did, we still could find ways to show our love for each other. I would always be able to show him my love, and be able to prove it every day of my life, for as long as he'd have me. Sam looked up and let out a tired yawn.
Okay. That's enough work. Wanna hit the hay?
Yeah, let us go to sleep. Yeah, sounds good. We cleaned up our paperwork, as well as the dinner we had eaten as we worked, and headed back upstairs. We were so wiped out by the time we hit the pillows that we didn't even care if we were still wearing our casual clothes. Sleep was just the beginning for us to escape into the dark embrace. I felt myself drift through the darkness of slumber, both at peace and enjoying the warmth around me that it brought. I was tranquil, unable to feel anything but bliss. I loved that I often had the chance to experience this kind of sleep, which was good since I was stressed about the upcoming wedding. I needed proper rest. However, as I floated through the dark, I could faintly hear the sounds of fire swelling up around me. What now? I looked around through the dark, unable to see anything but blackness. What now? What the? Slowly, the noise began to grow louder and louder, unrelenting in its crescendo. I almost had to cover my ears from the sheer volume.
You think you can stop me, boy?
Hi, father-in-law. Haven't missed you. As I blinked, the dark around me shifted into a burning room. Flames touched every inch I could see. In the middle of it all were Sam and his father, the Demon Lord. They were both wounded, but both were standing tall, confident as ever. Sam stood between me and the Demon Lord, protecting me from him. Aw, sweetie, I can kick his ass myself. Still, I felt fear seep into my soul as I looked at the evil Demon Lord, smirking at both me and Sam.
I will kill you, old man!
I think he can.
I want to see you try.
Me too.
You don't even have the strength to save your precious human!
Hi. Emerald, by the way. What? Before I could figure out what he meant, I felt an immense pain in my chest, as something ripped through my back and stabbed through me. Sam turned towards me, horrified at what he saw, and I looked down to see a blade sticking out of my sternum. Ow. Not a good day. I couldn't even emit a whimper of pain, as endless agony surged through my body, wrecking my nerves and distorting my vision. I could barely make out Sam, arcing back to scream at the sky, large flame-like wings erupting from his back. Here go, hell come. However, I felt my body give in to the pain, and my vision turned to black. Aw, this is not the good music. I felt waves of agony crash into my body over and over, as I remained on the edge of death. When I was finally able to open my eyes, I could barely make out Sam kneeling over me, resting my head on his knees as tears ran down his face.
This can't be happening. No.
From the look on his face, I really was dying. How could this be? Why was this happening? 'Cause you got stabbed through the sternum. Keep up. His hands quaked in disbelief as he ran one along my cheek and used the other to hold my shoulders. I stared up at him, grasping the air. Gasping for air as blood seeped over my skin. I was dying. I felt it. I knew it. Sam wept, but continued to stare down at me, trying to keep me awake and alive with his touch. However, he does not have healing magic. However, I felt that I wasn't going to last much longer. I winced at the pain and reached an arm up to Sam, touching his cheek. Sam. Sam shook his head violently, not wanting me to use my energy to speak. I grimaced at the pain, but Sam continued to cry. My heart whimpered at the sight of his tears falling down his cheeks.
Please, please. I love you. Please stay with me. No.
Sam, I love you. I wanted to wake up, but I didn't have the strength to fight this illusion. I became lost in the pain that was pinning my body down and draining me of life.
I can't lose you! Please! Please. I love you.
My chest wouldn't allow me to breathe in anymore. All I could do was exhale my last breath and close my eyes. Wow, okay. I am not having good dreams. Vader did it better. At a scream, I finally awoke, sitting up in bed and finally being able to fully breathe again. I panted, feeling the need for fresh air to circulate through my lungs and chest. I ran my hand over my chest, feeling no marks and knowing that I was, indeed, alive and awake. But what of Sam? I looked to the side to see him still sound asleep, lost in his dreams, which seemed to be peaceful, just from the look on his face. I let out a quiet sigh before closing my eyes and looking to the ceiling. It was just a dream, nothing more. It was merely a nightmare I experienced all the time. Really? We're having nightmares all the time? That can't be a good sign. The more I thought of it, the more I could sense the fantasy of it. I was okay. We were okay. This is fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. I ran a hand through my hair before lying back down, knowing that I would find solace in Sam's arms. As if by instinct, Sam wrapped both of his strong arms around my form. I cuddled against his chest. We were fine. We were going to be fine. At last, the wedding day arrived. Yay! We had prepared wait, did we go to the black market or not? We had prepared all that we could, and everything was in order. Sam, wanting to follow human tradition and not see the bride before the wedding, headed to the venue to change into his tux. I, however, was alone. I didn't ask Naomi or Zuzu to help, and honestly, I didn't want them to. I needed to be alone before my wedding. So I got dressed and made myself into the perfect bride all on my own, in my own mansion, no less. A wink. Yay. I stared at myself, seeing exactly what I wanted to see in the reflection. I looked exactly how I wanted to look on my wedding day. I smiled, unable to shake the feeling of happiness from my body. I'm getting married. I let out a small sigh as relief washed over my nervous mind. Everything was going to be fine. as I heard a car honking outside. Gosh darn it, Sam. I felt nervous creep in once again. I shook my head. I needed to relax. I grabbed the things I needed and rushed out, entering the white limousine. It was set to bring me to the venue, but I stopped the driver before I began to drive off. Can we stop somewhere first? The driver agreed, and I guided him towards the cemetery my grandfather was buried at. And I think when we played the last game, there was a small little hidden Easter egg for the upcoming game. I think this is where that comes from. It had been 2 years since he passed away. My personal visit to his graves had become fewer as time went on, but I never stopped going. Yeah, we were just here, Sam, a little bit ago. Today, though, was an incredibly happy day. I was so full of emotion I couldn't help but visit his gravestone. After all, I was about to marry a demon. I'm sure you'd approve. I was about to marry the man of my dreams, and I wanted to stop there before going to the wedding venue to talk to my grandfather. I'm pretty sure I looked odd in that cemetery, wearing a wedding dress. Grass stains, the grass stains. However, I really didn't mind. I needed to come, regardless. Hey, that's what the honeymoon's for. I stood by the grave, staring down it with a smile. I'm getting married today, Grandpa. The wind gently danced around me, as if my grandfather ushered it to reply. My smile grew brighter, and I let out a sigh. I couldn't lie. I wanted my grandfather to be at my wedding. But I couldn't go back in time. Or could I? Magic's a thing. Even if I was able to, how could I stop him from dying? How indeed? I shook my head. I didn't want to think about that. Not on the day of my wedding. I hope you'll be there in spirit, Grandpa. I'm sure you will. What now? God damn it, nature. Before I could continue my sentence, the sky suddenly became dark, causing me to look up. Rain began to fall and patter against the stone and grass, as a haunting bell began to chime. What boggled my mind was the fact that the rain was avoiding my body. Oh, this isn't good. It was like I was in a safe circle underneath an invisible umbrella, so that the rain couldn't soak me or my dress. Thank you, Grandfather Spirit. What the? Was this Grandfather's doing? Why was it raining all of a sudden? Why am I not bolting for the limo? The rain became heavy and I didn't dare move from my spot, afraid of what would happen. Yeah, I'm not getting married or anything today. Nothing important. I looked at his grave, confused and concerned. My eyes locked onto the engraved stone. This wasn't a natural storm. Well, duh. Magic was at work here. My heart gave a quick squeeze in reply to my conclusion before the word magic reverberated in my mind. Magic. Ick, ick, ick. I looked down and lifted my hands to scan over my gloved palms. My fingers began to tingle, almost as if that single word had unlocked something. Magic. Ick, ick, ick. I gently pinched the edge of the glove on my hand with 2 fingers and slid it off, revealing my bare skin. Nothing had changed, but I could feel that something was different. I could faintly feel energy zipping through the nerves under my skin, dancing in excitement at the word magic. Ick, ick, ick. I wonder. I knew Diana had taken away my energy, my magic, before she left. But what if? What if I still had some left? I raised my hand to the sky and focused on the back of my hand. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had to see something. My mind quickly formed a word in my mind. I didn't know where it came from, but I let it fly from my lips as a soft whisper. Decima. As soon as the sound of the word rose into the air, the rain around me suddenly froze as if time had stopped. The wind was slightly blowing, but the rain had stopped. I slowly lowered my hand and looked around. Did I really do this? Apparently. Before I could move again, the raindrops and stormy clouds above began to fade away, returning to the sunny weather it had before. I looked around and noticed that the grass and gravestone were all dry, as if the rain hadn't even fallen in the first place. That was...
I knew it! I knew it! That girl has demon magic!
Oops. What the indeed?
Then quit talking and let's take her!
Or not. I gotta go. Like I said, why have I not bolted back for the limo?
The demon lord will be so pleased!
I mean, will he? Who? Before I could turn to search for the voices, I felt hands grab hold of my feet, and I looked down and lifted my dress. I don't know why, that imagery is still terrifying, more so in a cemetery. 2 pairs of evil-looking hands had taken hold of my ankles. Reaching through the dark and purple pentagram, I shrieked, trying to pull my legs away, but couldn't stop them as they swiftly pulled me into the ground. I was pulled deeper into the darkness. I was no longer in my room. Wait, I was never in my room. I was in the cemetery. Keep up, game. I was being dragged through the dark void, one that I couldn't escape. I reached out and clawed at the dark, trying to find something to grab onto. I tried to pull my legs away from the hands that were holding them, but couldn't pull free. What was going on? Why was this happening? Someone help me. Hello, train. Are you quite done? As if someone heard my screams, I suddenly felt hands let go and disappear, leaving me to float in the darkness they left me in. This is fine. I shut my eyes. Please let this be a dream. Please let this be a dream. I finally felt a surface under my feet, and I collapsed onto it, my body curling in on itself from the experience I had. I didn't dare tear my eyes away from my lap, not ready to get up just yet. The voice I heard, however, made my heart stop.
You! What are you doing here?
Oh, you know, things, stuff, being a lady boss. I looked up, finally having the courage to take in my surroundings. My heart stopped beating for a moment, seizing in my chest. Hi, everybody! Sup? I looked to see 5 figures, strangers, monsters, beings that I didn't recognize. They all looked down at me in surprise, as if I had dropped in at a very bad time. I don't know, Fee! I mean, question mark, dead center with the wings looks very happy to see me. One man looked like an orc from a fantasy game without the tusks, and we have seen this, so I'm just gonna skip over it. I think this is the same exact text you get until you get the choices.
What?
Yeah, what am I doing here? Hi,
My lady.
mystery
You.
person. Skips. Wait. Shoot. Back. I am going to cry, because this deserves a good cry. This wasn't happening. This could have been happening. No way. And crying, and Diana's being oddly sympathetic. And she's going to enthrall me, because...
Down.
Yeah, I do need to calm down, don't I?
Now, can you tell me what happened?
Bad
your
things.
And try.
Succubus, we have no time for...
Dude, shush.
Shh!
Let her do her thing! The human obviously knows
I
her,
know, right?
and she obviously needs help. Poor thing.
I'm anything but.
Why did she call her Diana, though?
Why would I not call her Diana? I have to call her something. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to call her by, her demon name.
That must have been the human name she used. Well,
All of
Yeah.
you, please!
Yeah, I know, right? Shush.
Can you stand?
I took her hand, I stood.
First, can you tell me what happened to you?
I start talking.
A shadow
darkness. Yeah, it sucked.
One of yours couldn't.
On my honor, it wasn't any.
My lady, if I may, I clearly remember hearing.
Those damnable creatures. That explains it.
Yeah.
Well, dear, it seems that you were to be.
Nope.
Wait a minute. This girl knows about the Demon Lord's heirs?
Yeah, I'm kind of marrying one of them.
Yes. Hilariously enough, she was set to marry one of them, as you can see from her garb.
Ta-da! Actually, he might not know that if he's not familiar with human world customs.
Well, since you do not belong here,
Yes, send me home.
Of course.
Good times.
dear,
My apologies for skipping this. It's
do not panic. We will send you back now, so there's nothing to worry about.
I've already done this, like, on 3 other paths. This is my 4th time through. And this text does not change, and I honestly wish they would just give me the skip button for it.
How will you power the spell?
I'll use what energy I.
You'd waste time and energy.
Yes,
the
she's
human
gonna waste
Shall I
energy on
prepare
me.
it?
I'm awesome. Let's go.
You will obey my.
Transitum Parinan.
You must.
How dare you! No!
Things go wrong.
Use the Human will.
You spineless worm!
Agreed.
Close the portal!
But the human.
Close it!
Yeah. I don't get to go home.
I don't sense the Demon Lord anywhere.
That's good.
The worm has to scurry through the shadows to try and fight back. He'll be dead soon enough.
Cool.
How is she, guard?
Oh yeah, Diana kinda got knocked on her butt.
There are no physical wounds, but she's been weakened. I must give her my energy so she can recover.
Good luck with that. Bye. Hi. 2 of you don't look happy to see me.
There's an imp in the castle. That is the only way the demon lord could have been able to interfere.
You should take care of that then.
You! Guards by the door! Hunt it down!
Kill it. And they're gone. I can't go home. Comforting.
We'll get you home, okay?
Thank you.
Diana just needs a little rest, okay?
Yeah, let's go with rest in quotation there.
She needs more than rest. She needs to use a different spell to send her back. The Demon Lord will expect her to use the shadow spell again.
Then we do something else.
How
Pretty
about the
simple.
normal way? I'm sure we can connect to a witch, or even the warlock she used before, to reopen a portal to the human world.
Haha, no.
The warlock she used to get to the human world died, remember?
Idiot.
And he was the most powerful warlock in the human world. Practically a god himself.
Really?
What other human could be used to open a portal without another human dying?
Could I, just use my energy? I do have magic.
It was merely a suggestion. The faster we get this human home, the faster we can move on and finish off the demon lord.
Exactly. You guys all have priorities over me.
Well, what are we going to do with the human now?
Yeah, I'm still here, guys.
We can give her a room to rest in. Humans need sleep after all. Maybe by the time she wakes up, we'll think of a solution.
Good thinking.
Come.
Yay! The woman with rabbit ears looked down at me and lowered her hand to me, inviting me to take it. She had a kind but concerned expression on her face, so I trusted her. I slowly took her hand and began to stand up as the fairy figure brushed off the small patches of dust that had accumulated on my dress. And we've seen
Here.
this.
I'll bring you to the open ambassador's room. You are free to rest there for now.
Thank you. We've seen this, and okie dokie. Let's go. We're leaving, we're going to my room.
Rest here for now. When Diana is well again, we can discuss what to do.
Exactly. Thank you. She's a nice bunny lady. And I'm left to my own devices on my very comfy mattress. Darkness surrounded my mind, my dreams remaining silent and hushed in the cool and calm black. No nightmares appeared, and no sounds were made. I was simply resting, and that was all my body needed. I let my thoughts wander into my subconscious, thinking about what was going to happen now. What will the boys do when they realize I'm gone? What will he do? I'm gonna bet he flips his shit. I imagined him finding a way through to the demon world and pulling me back to where I belonged, wrapping me in his arms and swearing never to let me go. I would be relieved when we were married, just as we planned. How unrealistic was that? I don't know. I had to be realistic right now. I was stuck, and the only one who seemed to be able to send me back was Diana and her companions, whoever they were. I had to trust them, whether I liked it or not. Eventually, I did rise from my sleep, somehow fully refreshed and calm. How could that have been? A really comfy mattress.
Did you have a good rest?
Ah! Hi, Dee. Sup? I think this is the same dialogue regardless. Yeah, I actually did have a good sleep.
Good.
Cool.
We
So
rested-
tell you about our plans.
It's easier. So we need to find another way to get you back to the human world.
Uh-huh. Cool.
It will take time to get our shadow agents to gather the necessary supplies, but they are not hard to obtain, being that we're in a position of power.
Supplies,
You
you
must be
say? It's like I know something about someone else wanting supplies. Supplies that are found, in this world. I wonder if I would be able to, bring this up. I know not the time, but if I'm going to be stuck here, I may as well do some shopping. What do you mean? And she's showing me the world.
That is where we are currently, the center of the abyssal plains. Everything we need. My suggestion.
Seen this before.
However, I cannot stop you from whatever you wish to do. Just don't leave the castle.
But I wanna. Warning, I should probably stay in my room and... I'll be fine.
We'll get you back to the human world. I promise you that.
Cool. And I'm alone at last. What was I going to do? Part of me agreed with Diana's suggestion, wanting to stay in the room and be safe in case the guards didn't know who I was. Wait, how many humans in a wedding dress are floating around? I was, and would kill me on sight. Curiosity, however, wouldn't leave me alone, and I wanted to explore the castle. I was handed an opportunity to explore a castle in the demon world, and part of me did want to go to waste. I was torn on what to do. Time to explore. There was no way I was letting this chance pass me by. I stood and walked toward the door, opening it a crack and looking around. There was no one in the hall, but there were 2 directions to go. Which way? Left? I went with left. I closed the door behind me as I exited my room, and began to make my way down the left corridor. Everything was definitely medieval style, and I felt a bit small in the hall. It was like I was in a fairy tale, walking around in a wedding dress. It felt almost dreamlike. The passage seemed long, decorated with wall candles, paintings, and random curtains and flowers. It was mystical to see, and I smiled. I approached another fork in the hallway, however, and sighed. Really? How does anyone find their way around? Practice, practice, practice. And you know what? I'm gonna continue left, just so I have an easier time backtracking. I headed left anyway. Might as well make another left. I turned once more and headed down the hall, greeted by more fantastical decor. The sound of heated battle caught my attention. Oh, it reminds me of Sam. I quickly rushed over to see a door, barely open a crack. Behind it echoed the sound of clashing swords, as you can hear in the music. I peered in to see Diana and the guard that was with her before in an intense sword fight. Now that I could take a closer look, the man was extremely handsome and looked human. Yet I could sense that he was very much a demon, just in his presence alone. The man had the upper hand, but it was easy to tell that he was holding back slightly by letting Diana swing her sword again and again at his before attacking her and forcing her to defend. The look on Diana's face showed pure concentration and almost anger as her sword clashed with his. I had never seen Diana this intense before. Really? So to see stress and determination written across her expression was a surprise. Why was she fighting with a sword, though? She had demon magic.
You're holding back! Enough!
Yeah, call him on it. Diana jumped back from the man, bringing her sword to her side as the man did the same in perfect sync. She growled before tossing the weapon to him, and he caught it, but by the hilt with ease.
I told you not to hold back. Didn't you hear me?
I know, dude, right? The man stared at Diana before gently bringing the swords together and making them vanish into soft, black mist. He began to walk towards her, as she turned around and crossed her arms.
You can't treat me as if you were training a child, Sarah.
I know,
I need to be
right?
ready for whatever the Demon Lord throws my way, and you holding back is only a hindrance to me.
Exactly.
I apologize, my lady.
Empty words.
Not necessarily. It clicked. They were training. Duh. This man was her trainer, and she was being treated like a novice. That's insulting. Why? Also, he did apologize. Why was she being so harsh about it? She is in a war. As she pointed out, him holding back is not going to prepare her. Maybe it was a mistake. Diana let out a sigh and walked to the balcony of the room, laying her hands on the railing and leaning over her arms.
As each day goes by, my kingdom, my army, and I are constantly at risk. If I cannot defend myself when my energy runs out, then how will I defend this kingdom?
Exactly.
You will be victorious.
It's like this is scripted or something.
I will be slaughtered because of your inability to train me properly.
Maybe not. I'm here.
You know why I cannot, and yet you still demand it of me. I cannot bring myself to even potentially harm you.
Then you really are kind of worthless as a trainer.
And that will lead to my death.
Exactly. What? What was Sarah talking about? Why couldn't he train her properly? Why was she so peeved about it? Couldn't she just get another trainer? Exactly.
You will not die, my lady. I promise you that.
I cannot trust anyone who says that to me.
Maybe you should.
But you know that it's true. I will repeat my promise over and over to you until you accept it.
Exactly.
That promise comes out of a lie.
I mean, does it? I watched as Sarah walked over to Diana and gently wrapped his arms around her from behind. She didn't resist, but she didn't lean into the embrace either.
My love for you is not a lie, Azair.
Okay, we're using her real name.
You do not have permission to use my name.
I mean, are you sure about that?
You are avoiding the subject. My feelings for you are real.
Your feelings are false.
No, they're not.
They are as pure and true as your golden heart.
Aww. I could not believe what I was seeing. Diana had an admirer? Aw. When did this become a thing? Oh, sweetie, I think this has been a thing for years. Who even was this guy to her? Why was she so against him and his love?
You will defeat the Demon Lord and bring freedom to the Abyssal Plains. You will rise and become the land's new queen and sovereign, and I will stand beside you forevermore, because I love you.
Diana, he is trying to give you a good ending. Let him.
Deny my love all you may. I have served you and your family my entire life. I could never lie or hurt you. If you truly cannot love me back, then I will remain as your humble protector and servant till the end of my days.
I've seen verses where you will screw over anyone to get her on that throne.
You waste your life on me.
I don't think he does.
It is not a waste to serve and protect the woman I love with my life.
Exactly.
You waste your love on me.
Maybe, maybe not.
It's not a waste to love such a wonderful woman.
Aww. I didn't know what to make of this. Sarah really seemed dedicated to Diana, but she was putting on some sort of emotional wall between them, and he couldn't break through. It was sad to watch, yet from the posture Diana held, I could tell that she felt her actions were justified. Yeah, she does kind of have a war to run. Maybe she was trying to protect him from her. Maybe she didn't want to hurt him. I had seen firsthand what she could do if you had something she needed. This must be how she acted when something needed her. Aww, kisses. Diana gently sighed. To his and my surprise, Diana turned her body slightly to Sarah in his arms and ran her hands over Sarah's chest, making his uniform top vanish into purple mist, leaving his chest bare. What was Diana doing? I think it's pretty obvious what she's doing.
I need energy.
Uh-huh. Let's just call it that. Also, how long have you had a clothes disappearing spell?
From me, or do you wish me to?
Just give me your energy. I have no time to wait for you to get me a sweet flower.
Aww. You are her sweet flower. Aww. Sarah nodded before gently turning Diana fully to him in his arms and kissing her. For some reason, it may have looked like a normal kiss, but I could feel the love and passion that ran through it. It was almost magical to watch. Aww. When did I turn into a voyeur? One thing was for certain, however, he really did love her. The way he held her painted his feelings like a picture, so openly gentle and loving. Did she love him, though? She simply had one hand holding on his arms, while another rested against Sarah's back. Diana's feelings were an enigma. Really? This feels pretty straightforward to me. I quickly took the moment to leave, not wanting to disturb them, and not wanting to see their moment go any further than that kiss. Aww. Boo. And on that note, it is time to bring this session to a close. Until next, tak like a tail, kiddo.